Okay, so last week, 5/21, harvest for speaker from the form to submit. There is a deadline in 2 to 3 weeks. There was a session today or yesterday here. Was it this one? This one is scheduled. Maybe not uploading yet. I don't know.
Yeah, this one, it's currently happening.
Okay. Then today. Demos. So long.
I can demo today.
Wow. Who said something?
Dave.
Okay. Topics.
2.0, there's one PR we should probably look at if we can.
Victoria. With some accent everywhere, but I can't do the accent there. I don't see anything else. George is back. Boy, we have so many new attendees this week. Like Dave has joined us for 2 weeks now, and George went on a triage and now on a meeting. It's crazy. New faces, new voices, new voices. Okay, let's start.
Good thing.
Yep. Well, you were the last one to join us, Mike, regularly in this group at least. So people are taking over. That's good. Victoria, because we always start with Victoria. So.
Okay, thank you. So as you probably already know, we will have the Orchard Harvest Conference in Las Vegas in this September, and you can find all the important details at the orchardscore.net. But I wanted to mention again that the registration is open for speakers, and this year's leading themes are how will the future of Orchard Core look like, the role of CMS nowadays, some advanced topics like cloud integrations, performance, or module extensibility, and also real-world implementations of Orchard Core in action, but we would be also open to any other ideas. And there is a speaker application deadline, which is the 15th of June. And we would like to notify no later than the end of June the chosen speakers. And there is another benefit for the speakers because they will receive complimentary tickets for the event. So I suggest to not miss this opportunity. You will be able to connect with like-minded professionals as well, and it will be a lot of fun for this 2 days event, and we look forward for your applications.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So I will summarize these lots of session IDs. / suggestions. and fill up the form. What else? Let's do the status, code status. One, we did the triage. Launch on output 1, when was that? 21st. So that is really the work in progress on this PR, so nothing else was purged in output 1. Output core 21st. So this one shall update IDentity.Web, update JSON path.net, improvement for such Azure AI, triage it on Thursday, and Mike said it fixes some issues. Didn't work. So now it's working. Azure AI Search. The cleanup IContentManager. So what's the cleanup here? Modify method get ASO. It's the big thing. Get async latest false was removed. Version options by providing latest publish. Okay. Completely removed. These are nice, though. Yeah, so removing it from there. Okay, it's the API. This one is sad because this is usually what people want to do. That's why it's a helper. It's not to expose directly the same API, but it was to make a shortcut for people to see like kind of sad, this one. I like it. And this is new, get all version async to request on the historical all the historical versions. This one is nutty because I think I mentioned that if you do that, you get all the versions, but there is no paging. It's just loading everything. So it's kind of sad because this one might get into an issue if you load everything. You should have some pagination or some query constraints we can pass, like give me the last 10 versions or at least paging. Because just doing that, imagine you have lots of versions, you can never use it because you will always break your website by just calling it. So it's quite dangerous to just be able to do that. You can break if you don't provide a correct paging, but at least you can not break. Here, there is no way you can not break. You have to break at some point. Okay, but the main idea is to remove from all version the version options, all versions which didn't make sense for this option. it's a new file. Where was that? So just so we see the difference, because it's a new file. You don't see exactly what was removed here. The is all versions is removed. It was not used, and it was ambiguous if you passed it in the argument, like what do you expect to get? So it was completely removed and replaced by get all versions. Test.Sdk 17.10, and I believe Markov fixed a bug in the SDK. So he found a bug in the .NET Test.Sdk and fixed it in a PR, and that's why there is a 17.10. Register GraphQL types as transient to allow resolving them while building the schema. Okay, so George is working on GraphQL now. While building the schema. It's this one. Okay, so something is a singleton and is resolving those things which are scoped, so it can't work. But if they are transient, then it can work. Okay, now I get it from that, and I don't get it from. Yeah, it doesn't mention that. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense now.
Sorry, try to describe it better next time.
Yeah, just when you're in the context, it's obvious, but when I read it, while I didn't look at the PR before, I had no idea how it could solve something. Now I get it. But yeah.
Understandable. Yeah.
Okay. And the thing that you found. Okay, thank you. Fix casting during workflow instance restart. Okay. Looks like, so what kind of code is that? Dictionary extensions, helpers, abstractions. Okay, so specialize it, but then this one. Default value value. So this is just to invert the if case. Doesn't change anything here. And use the default keyword. Okay. If value is not t value, cast it value. How much do I not like it? Like a lot.
As much as I don't like it either. That's what we use in the same workflow.
Okay, so I focused on that, but in case you're asking for something that is not what you're getting, we need to convert it. And because there is no runtime conversion, we need to do serialization conversion, JSON conversion, use JSON to convert it to something. And this is interesting because you could, well, it's interesting that we have to go to the string representation, because if you have two objects that are compatible, but where the shape is compatible. You know, like they have the same properties, they have different classes, but they have the same properties. Like you have a tree and you have a car, okay, and the tree has a name and the car has a name. And you're like, oh, I can't cast a tree to a car or a car to a tree. So let's serialize it. And then when you serialize, you have a name. And you can deserialize it to a car, and yes, it will match, because then you can deserialize numeric to the car, right? And you're like, why would you need to create a string to be able to deserialize that thing? Will it be possible to actually just say, here is the state of the tree, try to give me a car, is the state of the tree, without having to go to the string? And JSON is nice, but why do we have to go to the string representation? Could we go to an intermediate representation without creating a string, like the JSON object? Trace to the brain. So it's using JSON. It could use anything to serialize, but it's using JSON. And it could be dangerous, because here it will work in your example because you have a content item. And I believe we had an issue with the content item. And it's special because we have a custom JSON serialization for content items. So maybe there are some issues with that thing that don't appear because your code is using a content item. So that's kind of risky. What are the types that require that thing here? Why isn't
that uses the default serializer? Oh, why? Because we cannot convert to an interface with previously we could, but not anymore with the new
JSON?
Yeah, correct.
So before interface, so get value was called with an interface here, and we are like, that's not the case, but say value. Why? What's the type of object that didn't work? That could have been. Oh, but people, wait. Okay, but this code is not run when you do that thing, right?
Yeah, that's what calls it. So
What
when
do
you
you
do get value, you're calling that method and you pass in the input, which
Then
is a
it will
key.
serialize and deserialize?
Yes, that's what it's going to do.
Even with the content
It's going to
item?
take, yeah, it's going to take the object, or it's going to pull it from the dictionary, and then it will serialize it and then deserialize it to that type.
Then I wonder, then would it not do the conversion if you use IContent actually? Because
IContent will not work. You'll get an exception saying you can't convert to an interface, or you can't cast an interface, something like that.
what I mean is that, yes, you can't go there with an interface, definitely. What I think is that it should not go there with the interface. The interface should be of the correct type at that point, that the object converted to the interface will say, yes, I am an IContent. So here is the value, and I don't need to serialize it. Because I believe what we have in the object should always be of type IContent in that case. Not explicitly content item, but IContent. And I wonder in what case you go to this code and then what you are getting is not an IContent when you put that. Or we should probably throw an exception, not wait for that to throw an exception or to actually succeed or do something, but say, no, this thing has to be a content item of some sort or content of some sort. And if it's not, then I'm not doing anything. Because I don't want to convert a car to a tree because you asked me to do that. Do it by yourself. You should not be able to convert a car to a tree in this case. And then you added that thing to be able to convert explicitly. And then you realize that SixLabs.JSON didn't support interfaces, which I can understand. But you changed that because you added that and because it didn't work SixLabs.JSON. I think the issue is deeper than that. You should not be able to call content item input key and not get something that is an IContent.
Maybe we should look into where that key value is written to that collection and see if it's
What's
written properly.
Yeah. What was the recent change done to the content created event? There was a change done recently. Or was it in option 1 with the content form stuff? What was that?
Yeah, I don't remember. You can look at the content created event file and see if there's any changes done to it.
Go to the list of workflow instances and restart the instance. Okay, so this exception is probably due to SysNtext.json in the first place. Like maybe a dynamic deserialization of a JSON document returns a dictionary of string object. And Newton.JSON was returning a correct instance probably. So yeah, that's the issue here. Why it got a dictionary and not an IContent in this collection here. The input get value something here. Input thing, what is that? Dictionary string object. So why is this? So what is this dictionary string? The input. So the input thing here now gets, it's hard because this object here is also a dictionary of string object, like key value pairs. And choose not to be that. So that's a change in SysNtext.json. You need to understand why. Why did it get a dictionary instead of getting an IContent in the first place? That's probably what to look at. So. The constant, content event constant, content item, input key. Yeah, so the previous activity flows a content item using a specially known key. And we try to read it again, but it was stored as a dictionary instead of an IContent. So I will just add a comment. That.
I shared in the chat a link to that code.
Okay, it's probably something we missed. And you said in the chat, I will open this link. Input content item, not null, but at that point it's a dictionary. So how did it get a dictionary? On workflow restarting. Okay, yes, okay. So we store the state of something. And this is a content activity on workflow restarting. I see. It's because when it's frozen, it will store the content event input key or the content item input key. Okay. So content event input key workflow context try get value content event content item event input try get value. What is input? That's at the top of the activity probably. To object content item. You see, this is what I was mentioning. How can we convert something to a different type, but not having to serialize it? That's it. This is a JSON object. So it stores a JSON object. So it says, I will deserialize the JSON object. So this should have worked. And then it should have extracted the content item ID. And then it should have loaded the content item ID. And then it should have assigned it. Does it assign it somewhere? And then it's replacing the thing with the content item. You see, it's getting the value of the same key here. And then it says, well, this is a JSON object. This is a generic representation of a content item. It will convert it to an actual content item instance. And this step must be failing because this step must be failing, or this step succeeded and it's assigned something else. So yeah, this is where the difference happens, and where this thing is not actually called. But it's trying many ways to get an actual content item instance and to replace it with an actual content item. Yeah. But if phase doesn't get that. So or maybe this code is wrong. Maybe it was just a cast that was never tested. It just fixed the build, and this code was never checked. Maybe this is the issue here, how this is done. might be because if you look here, from the object that we get, we try to access the content item version ID. If there is one, we load it. We try to access the content item ID from, again, this type. If there is one, we load it. And then, okay, it didn't convert to a content event context. So let's try to convert to a content item. And if it works, it also access the content item ID. Maybe we should just try to access the property content item version ID directly in this object. If it has one, load it. And if it has a content item ID, do it. Not trying to convert to an actual content item or to an actual content item ID, but to an actual content event context. Just try to get the content item IDs there. If there is one, well, let's load it. Maybe that's a solution. Yeah, but yeah, that's definitely here, right? That the issue is happening. Okay. Yeah, the bug is fixed. The concern is that it might do it for more than just that, because of it might serialize and deserialize the things for more than just this code, which is probably okay. Here, both with caching and cache when validating a document. Someone, Matt Barbler, fixed it, and it fixes many issues. Caching validation issue apparently was two caches, one memory, one distributed, and one of them was not resetted correctly, the one in memory. You can have the value in both, so it needs to be cleared in both. And there might be other locations where it should do that. But we decided not to change anything until it's proven to have a bug. So only this one was changed. Issue management docs, so close triage. Now all the bugs are closed automatically. PRs also. New issue templates. Well, the new issue templates are there. There is bug report. There is a feature request. There is a minimal set of things that you should provide when you file issues, and one default label for each of them. So feature request and bug report. Close day PRs. So if there is no activity after 15 days on a PR, we say let's close it, but only if the issue has needs other feedback. So if we say we can't merge the PR because we don't have enough information and there is no answer for 15, then it's closed. But then you can reopen it if you think that you didn't have time to answer. And it's documented the way it's done here. We correct the mapping of types to features in ITypeFeatureProvider PR from George to refactor how the list of types provided by each feature is discovered and registered, such that, for instance, we don't need to specify the type, which feature it's belonging to, because the code now will detect where you register a type, and we say if you register it here, it means that it's for this feature. So lots of shell things are now refactored. And the goal is to not break anything. And also feature entry has been removed. I believe that nobody ever touched these types but George. And whoever worked in Orchard 10 years ago, when we started Orchard Core with these things. But that's great. Great to see people who can understand this part of the code. Thank you, George. And what is it fixing? Oh yeah, because subtypes were found in an incorrect feature because they were only assigned to one feature when they could have been assigned to multiple features. That was the goal. Now,
And not also that, the attribute, the feature attribute, you really don't need it all over the place.
Yeah.
You can just place it on the startup file when you have multiple startups. And then also if you have controllers that you want it to belong to a specific feature, you can just place that over the controller. Everything else will just be automatically detected correctly.
Yep.
conclusion. Show recipe.
Bitte sehr.
What did you say?
Bitte sehr.
Oh. Ah,
You're welcome.
I would just say bitte schön, bitte sehr. What is that? Bitte. You're better than me. I will trust you. Show recipe error instead of throwing an exception. Error reporting, like it's breaking all the things because we can. Oh no, it's a custom exception. I thought it would be an output parameter. A custom exception, recipe execution exception. Okay, so there is a specific exception now instead of a generic one, and you can provide more information. Oh, there was one, but in the result. But there is still the result. Now there is the exception that takes a result. I'm curious. Recipe step errors. Now I want to see an example. So first comment, this should be explained. What's the key? What's the values here? Because it's errors, and that's what the first thing I was wondering. What list of keys could you have? Now I see that the name of the step is the key, which means I assume multiple steps could have an error or some errors. And then this thing could have multiple steps failing. Now I wonder, where can you get multiple steps to fail so you can report multiple steps, or do you stop at the first step that failed?
No, I actually think we stop at the first step, but this one tells you the name of the step that actually, in case you want to report it, you can take that name of the step and say, hey, step number B failed.
But you have them. You have the step name, and you could have multiple error messages already. Because this step name would be always the unique key there.
Yeah, I guess we can drop that key in that case and just
Yeah.
leave it as a list of
Just to make
strings.
just to make it simpler to understand and also the code. But yeah, that was my first reaction. Why we have what kind of like fields, we have this thing that we do all the time. When multiple fields are wrong, and then you have all of them. But here, yeah, it's the first step that always fails. You can't go further than the first step that fails, because the next one will be dependent on the first one. So okay. Yeah, that will simplify. Yeah, and in this case, that makes sense to have the localization, because this is to report some errors, so you want nice messages. Okay. that will simplify that also, because we will have a list of all. Cool. It's unreliable in the test. We put about it, I think on Thursday. Test was done wrong because the time of the post of the two posts that are created could be the same, and then the order would fail. So now it just checks that the collection has 2 entries, whatever the order is. George. Unit. xunit. Index commands, semicolons. Do not expose unsupported rows in the GraphQL schema. There are exception here. Here. Just want to see what kind of bug could trigger with that code.
Oh, you have to activate this option in the query, in the SQL query. Otherwise, it will throw an exception in GraphQL. It must return documents.
Okay.
Yeah, this picture shows the actual error I'm fixing.
Okay. So you are not exposing the non-document SQL queries, which
Correct.
could be nice to have, like even the non-document ones to return something, but
They will, but they
the
have to
schema.
be in a specific way formatted. So they have to have some properties.
Yeah.
And yeah, it will
Unless-
work normally.
And when we have a schema, we should be able to describe that. Yeah, that's why we have
It's
that.
described in the documentation. I don't know the details out of my head.
Okay, thank you. Also expose unsupported queries in GraphQL schema. Now I understand. Return documents. Okay, that's the property.
Yeah. And if it's not a document, it will build the build schema-based field type below. And if it has the correct parameters, then it will also work.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, it needs those properties.
Even knows what to type because it's not documented.
Oh, it is actually
Okay.
in the documentation.
Yeah. Well, I've said that so many times that probably someone did it and I didn't realize. I remember the first time I introduced this text box, I know who exactly introduced this schema text box, which I like, but I don't like because it's completely cross-cutting concern. Like, it's like, oh, I'm editing a SQL query and something, there is a text box named schema. I'm like, what? Even if you don't have the GraphQL thing enabled, because it's just, okay, we assume you can type a GraphQL schema there. And
it's a mess. I agree.
Yeah, but it was there to help, and just to give credits to who did that. It's Nick Main, who was the creator of the repository. The Orchard Core repository itself was created by Nick Main, who started .NET Core project of Azure. So
Yeah, cool.
was one of, just to say. We haven't seen his name like in 5 years. Yeah, you see here, boom.
But he's the documenting or acting in the issue management sometimes.
So I created the repo because I was the admin on the org, and I created because he said, hey, I want to work on Orchard Core. And I said, okay, let me create the repo and work. And you see, he was working here. And then after, okay, let's do something. Let's steal it by himself. Wow, for a long time, right? Then other people, yeah.
Oh yeah. It's already a long time ago.
Oh, 10 years. Oh, almost 10 years this year. Interesting. Oh, that goes fast. Okay, so there, correctly escape public media URLs. When you say correctly escape, you mean escape, right? Map to public URL, place query string, remove query string.
It's escaping URI data.
No, that's short codes, okay.
In the map.
Remove query string.
I think it's in the iFile store file. It's somewhere over there.
Okay. And this sanitizer was hiding the issue.
No, that was just an additional sanitizing, which is nothing to test here. It's just removed because it's not required in this test. The change is that the file name, you see there, bar is encoded to B %C3, etc.
Okay. How do you find these things? What are you doing to find these things?
There was an issue.
Okay. No, just broad. That's okay. Use MinimalAPI for two-factor authentication with a request. Okay, so more MinimalAPI authentication. Area route. It's weird that we have to pass the area if you pass the route. This is the route name, right? From the startup. Something like this.
Yeah.
Do you know if you have to still pass the area in this case?
You know what? I've tried it before with, I didn't try it with MinimalAPI, but if you try it without, like in a regular setup MVC, it will not work. I have no idea why, because I thought it's strange too. Because the route should just take you directly to that route, regardless where the area is.
Okay.
But I know it doesn't work with an MVC.
So we change here. We have select activator, inject antivirus service, token set value. What a weird code.
Yeah, it's no longer needed anyway.
Okay. Okay, new class because some code here gets removed. Become okay, and now it's a new class. Okay, that's the only change. You move something to MinimalAPI.
Yeah, these two are just moving things to MinimalAPI. The last PR, that one has a lot of changes.
Okay, an API controller is now a MinimalAPI. Okay. Right, mark as been endpoints. Update the rules. One constant. A new JavaScript. The notification.
Yeah, this one also, because we mark notification as read on mouse move over, I think. And so there's a chance where you can send multiple HTTP requests at the same time. So we just cache that request to prevent multiple requests from going at the same time, just so we don't have multiple extra requests going behind the scenes. So it just caches that request.
Okay. Looks like it could use some. Can it have some looking, but config looking, but maybe it should start with push. I think the method like this, where the mouse over for it should start with something that adds on the array to say, I am doing something, wait, and then you check if it's done, because you might be able to have two events. Is it? I don't know if you can have two events going there before you say I'm doing that. Maybe not. Maybe JavaScript can't do that. Well, you found a bug, you fixed it. It works on your machine, it's better. Okay, prevent function test database triggering on PR commands. That would be so sad. Database triggering on PR commands. So when is that thing run now? I don't remember the days. All database. So this one is run more often just so we can catch regressions. Submitted. Is it manual or is it automatic? Automatic. So 19, 18, 13, 6. Is it every time? Or is it every time but asynchronously? Like not blocking a PR, but or maybe ruling like when something is merged and named. Okay, that's probably that. Yeah, if I look at this commit. Yeah, that's it. So I assume that whenever something is pushed on main, all the functional tests are executed. So we know that something was broken. Main release. We'll show everything. Manual trigger, pull request. Release pushes to incase we merge from branch and set up to get back at bunch. What is types submitted? What does it mean here? Pull request review. Or when it was approved? I don't know. What does it mean? Pull request review submitted. I will look at it later. Oh, submitted. Oh, when a review is submitted. Oh, when someone approves. Okay, okay, that's probably when someone approves. And I will go quickly on this one. Allow user to manage two-factor. We'll look at it next week, okay? Mike, I want Dave to do the demo because Dave said he had a demo. So let's do a demo. Dave, please.
All right, I'll try to make it quick. Okay, so I was asked to demo on Discord on how we are using search or Lucene Search. This is in our case management platform, which is built on top of Orchard Core CMS, using the full CMS, not just the framework. So this is our front end, and this is a search page. So you can do the obvious search stuff, you know, by query, but you can also filter by different fields and properties on fields, and that is all added by marking a field as indexable. So if I add this, now I will have a new filter for date of birth. I would say I have to index that, but or rebuild the index. But like I can specify, in this case, coat color, and it'll filter based on that. I can add as many filters as I want, whatever, and then remove them. We can also do sorting. We can sort by multiple different things, and whatever it does one by one. And then another feature is we have different layout types. So this is the normal summary view or display type. We also have what we call summary small, which is just the title and metadata. We use this a lot elsewhere, but we also included it here. But we also have something called a grid display type, and that looks something like this. And you can add different fields and whatnot that you want to display in the grid. You can rename them, or rename your columns. You can remove them. And the reason why we allow you to rename the columns is for the export. So you can export all your search results, and it'll use, it exports to a CSV. So it'll use whatever you name the column as in your CSV. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to demo. Oh yeah, you can if you like configure a view the way you want it, so you add all your columns, you get it sorted, you get it filtered the way you want it. You can save that view demo, and you can choose who can see it. I'm an admin, so I can choose to make it available to everybody. But you can save it, and then you can go to your views, and you can recreate what you had already created just by going and selecting that option. There's also sharing your view. So you set up something and you want to share it with somebody else and just that person. You can click this button, it generates a URL for you, and you can copy and paste it or hit the copy button and send it to them, and they will get the same result that you get. And then, so this is, so these are a kind of type called search page. So I have all my search pages here, and these all have a bunch of options on them, like content types. I can select this and make my summary view work like the grid view, where it's just options, different fields that you add and stuff like that. Let's see what else is there worth showing. We have preset filters. So if I wanted to force somebody when they hit this page to have a filter, I could do this. And then when somebody comes to that page, it'll already be filtered down to that, and they can now remove that filter. Yeah, I think that's basically it for a quick demo.
Thank you.
Is that a module that you have available publicly or no?
It is not a module that is going to come out nicely from this, however much we'd like to. This whole grid piece, it's not using typical drivers. It's using what we call content value providers. And basically, it's very similar to a driver, but it just takes like a field or a part property, and you're stringifying that. You're telling it how to take that and make it a string. And we also have the opposite, which is content value setters, which takes a string and converts it to your object, your field value or your part property. So it's that's the piece that would have to come along with it. Yeah, but I was just demoing how we're using it. This is using Lucene. We have it written to use Elasticsearch, but there's a bug with Elasticsearch right now that there's an issue out. We gotta get it figured out. But
in Orchard or in Elasticsearch?
What's that?
In Orchard or in Elasticsearch?
In Orchard.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something to do with indexing multiple things with the same key, I believe. Like if you had a content picker and you selected multiple options, you could only search for one of those options.
In Lucene, we just index again with the same field, and Lucene will have multiple values. Maybe Elasticsearch doesn't work the same.
Yeah, it works great with Lucene. It's just got to make it work with Elasticsearch.
I think it's useful if there's a way to make this publicly available, like a module where you can just have the sorting, the filters and the views. It's actually really useful.
But will it be useful on the front end or on the back end? But the concern I have with the front end part is it's so specific to each customer that you can't really reuse it, or you use it as is and you don't tell people like change anything, because that's how that's how it behaves. There is no way to say you can't share this view or you can share this view, the button, the feature, or no, I don't want predefined filters, or I want predefined filters, or like, oh, this is a drop down and I don't want a drop down. No, when it's a front end, it has to be custom tailored, like for you. You made it for your needs.
Yes.
But reusing it on the front end might be hard. On the back end, we could say, no, that's a feature of Orchard. That's how you customize the things, and that's how you search items, and you can create some pages. So for the back end, it could be useful also for people.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I meant for the back end, because our content page, it's kind of similar, but it's less restricted or more restricted. Yeah, this is much more flexible. So
it's an extra way because it's using the indexes for that instead of just SQL queries. So it's more advanced. That's a great companion feature for the indexing feature. That's great.
Yeah. I could demo forever because like we're doing something I think pretty unique, because on the front end we can actually like edit stuff.
I don't want to see that. Go away.
Using again,
that's very specific to your needs. That's not something I would like to see people share, because you need to design everything. The editor and everything.
What was that?
You need to design every single piece, like to create the code to make the editor work on the front end also, for every single field or part or whatever. Yeah. Or it has to be custom, like, okay, we have a case, this is the editor for a case.
Yeah. I mean, this doesn't have to be cases, like this is just using normal content types, and it's essentially using the flow part to lay things out. It's our own custom version of the flow part, because that didn't work on the front end. But yeah.
Yeah, that's why we made it just for the admin, because if you put it on the front end, then you have to tell people that they have to write the full editing experience for their front end. And so
Yes.
you did that for your front end, but if
Yes,
you had
yes.
another website, you will have to do it because
Yeah, I'm not saying like this is something you put in Orchard Core. That's why it's out here.
Or you can put it as a module and people take it and don't change it. It's hard to do front end editing.
Making this view right here part of Orchard contents would be amazing for the backend.
The backend.
Yeah.
Question in terms of business, because Bethany was one of the first users of Orchard Core, right?
Yeah, we were using it during RC1 or before that, I think.
And so are you a SaaS, or is this just for one church or one company, Bethany?
This is a one company, but
Okay.
it's not one tenant because we have many different programs. So each program has their own tenant of CMP. And
Okay.
so it's highly customizable because each program has different requirements because we like go for grants and stuff from the government, and each grant has new requirements. And so we'll have different features to support each tenant's requirements, but also all the config that goes around that. So every little detail can be configured essentially. Like we generate invoices, for instance. Some need them as a Excel file, so we can do Excel files. Some need it as a PDF, so we can generate PDFs. Some you need to edit government documents, and so we can support all that. Yeah, so.
And it's fast.
Yeah, this is in Azure right now, so it's not just local.
Okay, well, that's great. Good. And what kind of front-end technology do you use?
We are using jQuery mostly. There's no front-end framework.
Okay, no, you are just HTML plus jQuery, nothing special.
Yeah, there's some Vue mixed in here just because Orchard Core itself uses Vue here and there, so we kind of have to like work with it for some of the field types and such.
Okay, looks super nice. Looks pro. It's more pro than Orchard.
Yeah, I mean we paid for this template, so.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah, I mean this is a really old template too.
No, whatever. Yeah, we also use it.
I guess I didn't show this. Like we do have user preferences. So like if you preferred one layout type, like the grid view, you can just come in here and set it, or you wanted to show more items per page, you can do that. But yeah, that's one way we're using Orchard.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for it. Okay, Mike, we'll talk about 2.0 on Thursday or next week.
George is here if you can review
George,
his PR. If not, if you don't have
on
time.
On Thursday, I don't have time. I have a meeting in
Okay.
45 minutes.
Yeah, it would be better on Thursday.
I didn't know, George, you came for that. So just
No, it's okay.
next time in the beginning, you say, I'd like to talk about it.
No, I'm fine. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
See you on Thursday.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.